What has the bounce back been over the last couple days?
Yeah, it's been a good response by our guys. That obviously we watched every one of those offensive rebounds on film that on whatever it was Thursday when we got back in the gym, and then our guys came out and really had a good hard physical practice. We backed off today. We didn't go as long, but we still had some physicality. We just felt like if we have any chance, we have to find a way to finish off possessions. You give a team that had 76 attempts to our 59 in that game. It's hard to win. Not only the offensive rebounds, but the sloppiness and the turnovers. A lot of that had to do with Purdue. They do a great job with their deflections, but we had a lot of unforced ones as well. So just things we needed to clean up. We addressed, really worked at it here these last couple days, and now we got to carry that over into this game. And obviously the start. You get dig yourself a double-digit hole before the first media timeout, and imperative in these early games. We talk a lot about that with our team. The team that gets off to the fast start in these early contests generally ends up on top.
When you looked over the film, what stuck out about how Purdue was able to control the offensive glass away from Illinois and Michigan?
Yeah, I mean they made first contact. That's what it was, and we don't have the length and the athleticism to overcome that. When the other team hits us first, we're at a disadvantage already just from a size standpoint and athleticism standpoint. You're putting yourself in a really bad position when you allow the other team to make contact. They wedge you underneath, and then they use their length to go up over the top. And that's what happened. That's what happened pretty much from start to finish in that game the other night.
Not that they wouldn't have your attention anyway, but the fact that Northwestern was up, 15, 16 on Michigan, I don't think Markel even had his best game. But your guys.
Yeah, really. I mean, listen, Chris Collins is doing an unbelievable job with that team, with a lot of younger players. They've got an unbelievably bright future. And, you look at not only that game, but the Iowa game on the road, where they had a great chance to win against a really talented team that's in the upper half of the Big Ten. And they continue to come at you. New guys are stepping up. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now as well. And that was, I mean, the performance they had against Michigan to go up 16 points in the second half against a team that was absolutely rolling. And then Michigan, it was similar to our game. I thought the last 10 minutes was very similar to what happened with us. They just wear you down with the size and their athleticism and their pressure and their ability to go to the offensive glass. And listen, Michigan's talent, I've said this, it looks like an NBA team out there. So for Northwestern to battle them, that was still a 4-point game under 3 minutes to go. And they I thought that was one of the better performances I've seen this year in league against certainly against Michigan.
When you look back at that first meeting in Evanston, what are some of the main things you want to translate into the green match?
I thought we played with a lot of discipline in that game. I thought we kept making the right plays. You got the ball to the right guys, and I thought defensively as the game went on, from a physicality standpoint in the first half, Martinelli handled it. He had 5 offensive rebounds at halftime, and I don't think he had one in the second half. That was important for us, and I thought we did a good job. They take care of the ball better than anybody in the country when you look at their turnover percentage. So if you can get some of those and get some of those deflections and get out on the break, certainly that's going to help your offense. But I just thought our activity level in that game was exactly where it needed to be, and we need to duplicate that again tomorrow.
How is Northwestern different in the past month? I guess slightly different starting line of how they evolved.
Yeah, they are. They're starting different. They're very dynamic, I would say, in the backcourt. Those two guys are really playing with a high level of confidence. That to me is the biggest thing. And Singleton is got great physicality with the way he's playing. I thought Page was unbelievable in that game against Michigan. I thought his physicality, the way he battled Michigan's bigs was unbelievably impressive. So I just think the confidence that they're bringing into this game, not that they weren't confident the first time, but they've shown they can compete against anybody. He had a great win on the road at USC against one of the most talented rosters in our league. So they're playing really good right now.
Progressing, and is he someone that can help in that?
Yeah, Leo's doing well. He got some work in. He will not play tomorrow. We're really working towards getting him ready for next week, whether it's Iowa or Penn State. But he got a good day of work in. When we actually were watching film this morning, he was out on the floor getting an individual workout in, and he responded well to it, to the workload. And we'll see how he's going to be tomorrow, but he will not be in uniform.
You got about 60-something players, 75 total staff members from the previous years, over 8 decades.
Yeah, it was great. I just talked to a lot of them. We probably had 50 of them at practice this morning, and just to be able to catch up, a lot of the former players have been coming to this alumni weekend for a lot of years. So building relationships with them, getting to know them, has been great. Seeing a lot of the guys that I played against, that's been fun as well. Danny Nee did a home visit in Ames, Iowa. He was the sharpest dressed person I think I'd ever seen at that point in my life, and it'd be great to catch up with him again as it was a year ago. Ty Lue unfortunately isn't going to make it back, and I get it. Listen, that All-Star break is sacred. The grind you go through to get there and to be able to recharge your batteries. So, hope he has a great break. So, totally understand. Was looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully we can get him back here at some point, but he's got a big finish with the Clippers, and certainly we're all wishing him nothing but the best here as they go into the playoff stretch run. These last, whatever it is, 35 games. My son made it back, though. That was fun to see. They played the Warriors 2 nights ago, and he took the 5 a.m. flight back, so it's great to see him. Even though the Spurs are coaching the All-Star break, Jack made the decision to come back. It's his only chance to see his brother play this year with what they've got going, and it's great to see him.
I know that 95-96 team was a year after you, but they're honoring them. What do you remember from some of your matches with those guys that were in college?
Yeah, had some great battles with those Nebraska teams. I remember playing in the Devaney Center. It was always special for me, just with my connection and ties to Nebraska. I always really enjoyed coming here and playing. I remember my senior year, I banked in a 3. I think to put us up 4. Under 30 seconds to go, and we had a good win at our place, but I think I had a losing record against Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken, with the 8 games that we played back then in the old Big 8 conference. But yeah, Danny, listen, the recruiting, the players that he brought in here, the talent was as good as anybody in the league, and that team with Boone and Strickland and Mikey Moore. Pikowski, those guys were always really hard to play. I said this, Pikowski was the hardest guy that I ever had to guard in college, just because of his movement.
Yeah, there were 5 current players on this team that went and saw Nick Janowski last night playing Omaha. What does that say about the culture you built?
Yeah, I think it's really cool that those guys went down there and spent some time. We were able to see Nick before. Nick's having a great year. We're all very happy for him, and he was really good for us last year. And I think if you talk to Nick, he would let you know how important that year was in our system and the development, and how that has carried over to the success that he's having at St. Thomas. But yeah, for our guys to go down there, I think that speaks volumes about our program and how tight-knit our guys are. And I know those guys enjoyed seeing him last night.
What are these former players that are back? What are they sharing with your players, with the staff about the success you've had?
Yeah, they I think they really appreciate this group, and they talked. Like I said, I just talked to about 15 or 20 of them, whether before practice or after practice, and they love how this group competes, how hard they play, how unselfish they are, how they play for each other, and I think it brings back great memories for these guys. When you're able to spend time with former teammates, all the highs and lows, ups and downs you go through as teammates, all the battles. And it just brings back great memories. So I think when they see a team having success, it's really fun for our former players, and we love welcoming them back for this weekend. We got a dinner and a banquet tonight, and it'll be fun to again see everybody and catch up with everybody. Thank you.